Hi there everybody, thanks for joining me. Today, as it's Mental Health Awareness Week and as part of my Neil's Yard Remedies organic team community, we are focusing on mindfulness in May. I wanted to share with you some of my tips, some of my thoughts on some self-care rituals, creating time and space for yourself to live mindfully in every day. Now, it's not a case that you have to revolutionize, have to completely change everything you already do, that what you're doing isn't good enough, or that this is going to be a big endeavor that you could do without, quite frankly. This is about finding ways to just be present. You know, we're human beings, not human doings. And my to-do list is as long as yours, if not longer. But having moments of stillness, having moments of presence will just make your whole day better. Will help your mood, will help how well you cope with things, will help how well you sleep. So it's really, really important. And you can do this with some practices, and you can do this with some products from Neil's Yard Remedies, of course. So I'm going to just talk about a couple of things that I think can really help. Again, this isn't a pressure. This isn't me saying to you, I hope you're taking notes, because I'm going to be expecting you to do all of these. Like anything where we have lots of things we want to achieve, just start with a shift, a tiny shift that will feel manageable, that you can make habitual. You might find it easier to link a new habit to an existing one. So what do I mean by that? Well, every night you might put your pajamas on. You could link the habit of lighting a candle or spritzing some pillow mist at that point to get that into a new habit for yourself. So rituals can be things that we do ourselves. They can be things that we use to help ourselves be more mindful. So being mindful is just noticing everything and being inside your own space, your own mind, quieting the monkey chatter. In a way, it's kind of like a meditative process for me, but I find it easier than classic meditation. So for me, bringing in a few mindful rituals just helps me. So the first one that I suggest you might like to try is waking up just 15 minutes earlier than everybody else. Now, I have little kids, I know what I'm asking, but just to have those 15 minutes the first thing I like to do is just have a really good stretch. Getting all of that fascia moving, deepening my breath, and just getting myself going for the day. Feet on the floor, by the bed, just taking moments to feel, what does the carpet or the floor feel like under your toes? If you scrunch your toes up and flatten them out, how does it feel to picture yourself grounding into the earth? Standing, being conscious of activating your glutes to stand up. And then going downstairs and making a nice cup of tea, depending on how I feel. Sometimes it's our Bright Start tea, which is lemon and nettle. So great for seasonal discomfort symptoms as well. And that citrus in there is just, hello day. But you know, you can have a coffee if you want. Doesn't have to be a herbal tea. And sometimes my other favourite, I do quiet time, rose and lime flower tea. Sometimes I don't get to do that, and that's okay, because someone hears me wake up and wants to come down and what have you. We love morning snuggles in bed, me and the kids, so I often will come back up, but I've just started my day with a moment for myself, which is great. What other things can you do? Getting outside is a great thing you can bring in as a mindful ritual. Maybe set yourself an intention. The next time you finish a Zoom meeting, you stand up, you go outside, and you stand. You can do barefoot if you want, but you stand on the floor, on grass or whatever you've got, and you just look at the leaves or the flowers you can see. Listen to the rustle of the wind or the bird song or the traffic noise if that's what you have with you. But just be in that moment. Allow your thoughts to just in one ear and out the other. The way that I manage to do that, I am no good at having a blank mind. I need to think on something, so I think on the trees or the flowers so that everything else just goes away for a moment. That's something you can try. Something creative is often something that we lose as we get to adulthood, sadly. So how much do children love painting and crafting and sticking bits of something to something else? You know, we benefit from that too. But if you haven't got some children you can just grab to do some crafting with, then there are these fantastic mindful colouring books. Maybe have a doodle, something creative, allowing your artistic side, whether it's any good or not, frankly doesn't matter at all. Having a think about, I'm going to do this purely for pleasure, and it's going to absorb my mind. Absorbing your mind, being in that moment is what we're going for. So there are plenty more rituals you can bring into the day. You know, for many, it's about exercise. If you can exercise outside, excellent. That's fantastic. But even things that we don't even have to add in to our existing schedule, our existing patterns, we can start to do more mindfully. This is not you now wafting around, levitating a couple of inches off the floor, omming and becoming a monk. This is about practical moments of peace. Brushing your teeth. You can mindfully brush your teeth, not like, what's going on out there? Oh, you're going to try to thinking about brushing every tooth. I know what I'm doing. You know what brushing your teeth looks like. Brushing every tooth, the sound of the water, the sound of the brushing, the coolness of the water when you rinse, the taste of the toothpaste, being in that moment, or eating your food. Another fantastic for digestion and also managing your weight is to eat mindfully. How often do we eat whilst we're doing something else? All the time. If we eat mindfully, we start eating with our eyes. What does it look like? Then we'll look at, and we'll eat with our nose. What does it smell like? We'll nourish ourselves with those senses. Then we start to taste the food, chewing mindfully, feeling the texture. Even if you did that with like 2 meals a week, that would make a difference to your well-being. I like to bring moments of mindfulness into my day as well, using some beautiful aromatherapy. So there are some blends that we make at Neil's Yard Remedies that are great for that. My favourite blend in the diffuser, and if you haven't tried it yet, I can't encourage you enough to try the meditation blend. I thought, well, I don't really meditate, so I'm not sure that's for me. Well, it smells like heaven. So a few drops of that in a diffuser doesn't make you so, it's not so soporific you then can't be bothered to do anything. It just calms you, deepens your breathing, calms the chatter, grounds you, and you can have that on in the background, but you can make it a little ritual. You get up in the morning, and as the kettle's boiling, you choose your oil for that morning, you pop it in your diffuser, and you pop the diffuser on. That is something you've done for yourself. You've done that for you, and that feels really good. Not absent-mindedly, oh, I don't know, chuck this in. Looking, feeling the bottle is cool, unscrewing the cap. How many drops? Waiting for the drops patiently. I like to do that. The other thing I like to do is bring rituals into bedtime. Now, a lot of people are finding it tricky to sleep. I think anxiety levels are quite high, understandably, after the, 16 months we've had. So think about little things you can do. I always recommend, if you're having trouble sleeping, that you set yourself a bedtime routine, a ritual, if you will. Now, it doesn't have to be elaborate. It doesn't have to be, you know, Gwyneth Paltrow goop worthy, although amazing if it is. Good for you, I'm jealous. But something along the lines of a set of things that you do in a certain order. It doesn't even have to be the same time or the same duration each time, although it's ideal if it is. But you know, you're going to take your clothes off, you're going to wash your face and brush your teeth, you're going to get into your bed. That's the bare minimum you're going to do. But what about consciously pouring your drink, your water for the evening, or boiling the kettle and making one of our beautiful nighttime teas? Listening to the sound of the kettle, smelling the tea as it's brewing, using all of your senses just for the thing you're doing at that moment. For me, that's mindfulness. Coming upstairs, taking the time to do, and I mean like 2 or 3 minutes, to do a nice face routine. For me, frankincense essential oil in my products is not only my nature's Botox, it's also about being grounded and mindful in that moment, stealing those moments of mindfulness. So you can bet your bottom dollar when I'm putting my frankincense intense cleansing melt on, I'm just taking a moment to inhale those oils. I like to spritz my pillow with pillow mist before I get into bed. I like to put my frankincense intense hand serum on. I always put it on after I've turned the light off, but before I get into bed. Little routines, you see. And then I stand there, do 3 really deep breaths with my frankincense intense hand serum. My husband, I don't know what he thinks I'm doing, but he's like, what are you doing half the time? But you know, my feet are on the floor. I'm conscious of balancing on the 4 points of my feet, just making sure I'm stable, I'm grounded before I get into bed. You can journal or jot your thoughts down, jot your worries down before you get into bed, or what you're grateful for. All sets you up for a better night's sleep. But the purpose of this ritual is not just to get a better night's sleep, which is excellent. It's also to signal to your body that you have begun the wind down for bed. So that whole rest of your evening, I say it might be 10 minutes, or it might be an hour, then your night, and then your day starts differently too. So it's fantastic. Other things that I like to incorporate into my rituals are into my life are our remedies to roll. This one's Women's Balance. Heavenly also, smells like a spa. Balances the emotions. It balances the thoughts. It balances the skin. And I encourage you to apply it, not while you're doing something else like I am. Totally made me lose my train of thought. But when you're going to apply this, make it a mini ritual, a 5-second self-care ritual. Notice the smell, notice the feel of the rollerball on your skin. Put the lid on mindfully. The sound of it going down. Inhaling, dropping the shoulders. These are some of the ways that I like to incorporate mindful rituals into my day, just to keep myself that little bit more balanced, that little bit more focused, and that little bit calmer and happier. So I hope there's been some things here that you've found useful, that you will go on and try. As I said, it's no pressure. If you want any of the products, you know where to get them from. And so just develop your own little moments of mindfulness in what you do. And I'd love to know what difference that makes for you. Have a fantastic rest of Mindful in May week and look after yourselves. Thank you.